we're going to go away for a little bit because we're kicking it over to this fucking Shane Bieber interview that we did with the unanimous Cy Young Award winner in the American League, Shane Bieber. All right, we are here with the unanimous Cy Young Award winner in the American League. You already know.
That sounds
His
so
name
good.
Is Shane Bieber.
Say it again. Say it again.
The unanimous Cy Young Award winner in the American League. His name is Shane Bieber.
I'm aroused.
And it's what have you been up to? What have you been up to since the whole Cy Young Award thing?
Nothing, man. Just still trying to recover.
Yeah.
No, it was a good time. Obviously, just been.
I had an awesome time.
Yeah. Thank you guys for joining. That was a fun time for sure. But yeah, just kind of recollecting and enjoying it. Been getting back to work over the last couple weeks, and lost a little bit of the progress that night, but just trying to regain that and get back to where I need to be to move forward and honestly look on to next season.
I feel like we called it a night before midnight. I feel like you couldn't have been that bad.
Yeah, but remember I had the yips on the range, and the only thing that could fix it was a screwdriver at like 10 a.m. So we started pretty early.
Yeah, it was a long day. It was a long day. What do you remember most from that day, if anything?
I think just all of it. Honestly, it was really special to me. Just have so many people there from different backgrounds, and obviously people that are very close to me, and you guys joining us, and my agents, my family, friends, everybody. Everybody had a really good time. It was obvious, the vibe was great, and it just meant a lot to me that everybody was just enjoying the day, enjoying each other, and like you said, it went swimmingly.
Yeah, it did. One thing I noticed, and this has happened to me, like look, fucking wedding season hits, you're talking to everybody, you're going to all these different weddings, teammates weddings, shit like that. You really find out a lot about the life and the love of the bride and groom by speaking to people who were there and by witnessing their interaction and how they interact with each other, right? And sometimes it's seamless, and other times you're like, yo, they fucking hate this bitch. They can't wait to get right. But that was what I took away from it, dude, was even from the minute we set foot on the range to the minute that we said our goodbyes, like speaking to everybody there, you could just feel how much love, how much support, and how proud they were, honestly, of you. But I think even what was cooler is more so like themselves, like there were collective like high fives and congratulations, like, yo, our boy fucking did it. He did it. Like, and the fact that we're even here, he thinks that we played a role in it, like your brother, your agent, everybody, the guys from the companies who support you and you endorse, who obviously endorse everything you're about. So that's why when I ask you, have you now had time to step back and really take stock of not only the acknowledgement, but all the fucking dirt collected under your collective spikes as a family? Have you has that started to fucking sink in yet at all?
Yeah, definitely. Like, I mean, you guys know it's a collective effort. Like, there's so much that goes into it, not just for an individual season, but when you're looking at an entire career, like how'd you get there? And the people that we were all able to share that day with are the ones that got me, to where I needed to be, and to where I was that day, or to where I am right now. And it truly means the world. And I know I said this a few times, but it's because I mean it. Like it was an incredible opportunity just to have everybody there after everything we've all been throughout the last year, and it's absolutely a collective effort. So it was amazing to see people get the recognition that they deserve, and they're the ones that have made all this possible. My parents, my brother, my girlfriend, my agents, everybody, man. And I know I said it a couple times, but I can't thank them enough. So it's nice to be able to kind of reflect on that, and I know that they're doing the same thing. And it's nice for them to do that because they deserve it.
Yeah, a lot of people were actually, and I don't want to take the credit here, but a lot of people were giving me credit for, like I had an awesome seat for the announcement, and I gave it up so that your girlfriend could sit there. And like, I don't need you to
You
say
mean this
thank
one
you.
right here, this right next
Yeah,
to me?
yeah. Originally, she was like off to the side, and like I was sitting pretty close to that seat on your right there, and I was like, you know what, she
I
should
remember
probably
that.
sit here, and like that's fine,
That was
whatever,
very
not a
sweet
big
of you.
deal. One of the best or coolest moments for me though, being there, and I don't know if you've gone back and watched like the tape of the announcement, but when you get named Cy Young Award winner, your parents like held hands behind your back. They were like, "Hey, we fucking did it." Like that was like for me, like when I think back to like the announcement, that's what I think about. Like that was the cool. I don't know if you saw that or felt it because I'm sure your brain was numb at that point, but like that was totally fucking cool.
Yeah, I was all over the place. I'm gonna have to go back and watch that. I had no idea, but that is a special moment. It just speaks volumes to they sacrificed so much to get it, not only themselves to this point, but they've helped me get myself to this point. And like I said, they absolutely deserve it. They deserve so much more, and hopefully there's more to come. But that's special. I'll go back and look at that, and I'll ask them about it.
Yeah, it was really cool. And I mean, again, I might have been overserved. I remember asking
you were absolutely overserved.
No one celebrates other people's pinnacle achievements harder than I do. Like I just like that's the one thing that you can count on me for. If you do something awesome, I'm gonna fucking celebrate it.
I love it.
But I remember asking you like, hey, Cy Young Award, like what's the gift that you're gonna give to yourself? And I think you answered, but I have no idea what you said.
Yeah, me neither. I know I answered though. But I guess I don't know. We're moving into this house in a couple days. So we got time to think. Obviously that can be an expensive process and a lengthy one.
Yeah.
But so we're gonna see where the budget's at after
Do we get
that.
a bonus
and then,
for this?
Yeah, I think some sorts of bonuses.
There you go.
I mean, I'm still on my rookie contract, so those matter. Everything adds up, and I'll reassess and hopefully get ourselves something nice.
Yeah,
that's right.
I'll keep you updated though.
Yeah, let me know.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Let me know if I can offer my expertise in any areas.
What are we? What are we getting the backstops? What are we getting the suggestion boxes? Has that been a thought? Because obviously there's other folks to take care of.
100%.
Has that been something you've
open to suggestions privately? Because they absolutely, that's another group of people that have a lot to do with everything. And like I mentioned in that live interview, like those guys are the best. I truly believe that we have the best catching core in the league, and I've been fortunate enough to have been with these guys since I've came up. So they're incredible. They teach me so much on a day-by-day basis, and they absolutely should be included in the celebration.
Yeah, I thought that was cool that you took the time in your moment to shout them out by name. It wasn't even just like, yeah, there's so many people that I want to thank, but like I'm caught up in the moment and I can't think of names. It's like, no, you were like bam, 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 just like naming off like Sandy and Perez and those dudes. But
yeah.
No, go ahead.
And that's one of those things like I mean, I was rambling, like just diarrhea mouth. But and so the first name came out, and then in the back of my head, I'm like, well, I gotta go everybody. So I went down the list, and I'm glad I did. I was in shock, obviously, and kind of numb, like you said, but those guys absolutely deserve to be shouted out.
Yeah. Who's the one person that was like really cool that they reached out after? Like you weren't expecting to hear from them, like maybe like a high school teammate or like someone that you haven't heard from in forever. It was like, hey man, congrats, and you were just like, oh shit, that's fucking cool that they reached out.
There was a lot, man. There was a lot. There's some very, very special people, and obviously people I'm extremely close to. Cleb sent me an awesome text message, and Marley from Revolution, my boys at Revolution, and so so many other guys. I'm a bunch are slipping from my memory, but tough to just place one name at the top. I just appreciate everybody that reached out.
I don't hate that. You said you're moving into this new house, and whatever it is, 3 days.
Yeah, hopefully.
Have you scouted? Because this is important. This is important. This is like
Where's it going?
It's like a statement piece. Have you scouted out where the Cy Young Award is going to go in your new home?
Yeah, we got a spot. I know. I'm gonna have a, I don't know. Hopefully, like we were talking to Link about this, right? Uh, like a game room memorabilia, just a dude room, and it's gonna go somewhere in there, and it's gonna be front and center. Um, maybe above or below the Ted Williams bat. But I'm gonna have to establish a real nice security system before I put all that stuff up.
For sure.
Yeah. Let's make sure to get some
So
bells.
first things first.
Yeah, we're not letting anyone just like walk in and put their grubby hands on it. But you said, like, are you a memorabilia guy? Like, are there pieces that you have like from this season that you kept, like hats, like spikes, or what's the significance behind any of those?
Yeah, absolutely. There's a bunch of stuff, and I'm fortunate enough to be able to put aside a bunch of stuff, and that's one of those things that I trust other guys that have been there and done that. Especially our head clubhouse manager Tony Amato, all these guys that know what I'm supposed to do, because I'm, my brain's going 1,000 miles a minute when some of this stuff happens. So they're like, hey, give me your cleats, give me your glove, this and that. We're gonna authenticate them and just give you the option. And so I appreciate them for that. Truly pros. And so there's I have a few options to run through to be able to display some nice things, and obviously throughout the process of a major league career, you get the opportunity to play with some special people that will have their names engraved in the game for a long time. So the goal is to continue to meet them, talk to them, and maybe collect some memorabilia from them as well. So hopefully by the end of the playing career, that's going to be a nice big wall full of special items.
Yeah.
Oh, you're well on your way, my friend. I want to know. I'm curious because you are such a competitor and you are so driven, and I think at times, because you're such a nice dude as well and you're authentic, that the ferocity with which you approach getting better and succeeding with can kind of get lost. I'm not saying you're soft. I'm not calling you a soft ass bitch. I'm just saying you're a nice dude. But how do you put all that shit aside that we just talked about and get right back to work? How do you go about that?
Honestly, man, like it comes kind of natural for me. I feel like it always has. Like I've always felt that chip on my shoulder and wanted to continue to prove people wrong and to continue to get better. And I mean, at the end of the day, this was all great to celebrate and reflect on, but we didn't win the last game of the season. So there's always a chance to get better. There's always another milestone to look forward to and to work towards, and that's what I've started to do over the past week or so. And it's like, what's your next goal? What's most important to you? And I think any player would answer that question with winning a World Series championship. So yeah, I just need to continue to get better and continue to put in the work and trust that it's all going to work out. And hopefully it will.
Knowing that you play obviously a big part in what happened this year for your team. We talk about the amount of starts that you made, how many times your team won in those starts. Those conversations aren't the same over 162. How do you identify what you need to do specifically to get better? Because you only have so much say in quote unquote winning that last game of the season, right? So what, if anything, have you identified about your work from this past season that you say to yourself, look, Beebs, if we're going to get better, brother, if we want another one of these little fiestas after the season, on top of winning that last game, this is what we got to do. Let's go to work. What is it?
Yeah, it's tough to identify sometimes, but I think that's what you're able to use your resources around you for. And there's people within the Indians organization, people, my trainer back home, and my friends, my buddies that are in pro ball, and my teammates. Like it's what you communicate about. Like, hey, where can I get better? What can I use to work on my back leg load and this and that? Like obviously you always want to get bigger, faster, stronger. And then that's an aspect that you can put to the side right now. That's what you're building up, but that will always be a progression. And then looking forward to next year, it's like, what do I want to do with my slider? What do I want to do? Do I want to change the shape? How do I improve efficiency or consistency with it? And that's one of the things that I'm going to try and work on this off season, because it was good at points, but I never felt too comfortable with it. I obviously relied heavily on a curveball and a
That
cutter.
is scary. That's scary.
And but yeah, but like if you ask, when I came up in 18, everybody's like, oh, it's a slider, and obviously my curveball has continued to develop, which is great. So I'm gonna put that in the back pocket and focus on how I can best complement that pitch and how I can get something that looks similar but to go a different way. And there's a million ways to continue to get better. It's just a matter of identifying them and going after them.
There was an SNL skit a few years ago about like the 5 Timers Club, where I think like it was Justin Timberlake's like fifth time hosting SNL, and he walks in and like everyone that's ever hosted 5 times in there with their smoking jackets and their whiskey. If there were a similar room that you could walk in with every single Cy Young Award winner, and now you have access to this room, you can go in there and it's an exclusive club, who's the first guy you're going up to and chatting up? Could be dead or alive,
man.
dead or alive.
Well, I'm gonna get some camera time, so I'll probably go up to Trevor Bauer because he'll have his just to get nice and comfortable. Maybe go to the bar and get some juice in me, and then get comfortable, and then I'll go to my heroes and guys that I watched pitch growing up. So I guess that would be the easy answers.
Well, who's the non-Trevor Bauer guy?
Probably Pedro.
Yeah.
It's obvious answer, but he's the best, man. So
I feel like that's attainable. Have you ever met him before?
I haven't. Well, yeah, I did over an interview with MLB Network. He's awesome. He's hilarious.
Oh, great.
And hopefully many more conversations.
Oh, was that you that he was interviewing when he was like, shit, I won the All-Star Game MVP and they didn't give me a truck. Like, you got to hook him up with a truck.
It was me. I owe you guys a truck, and I owe Pedro. So I got 3 on my tab.
Hey, these awards are getting expensive for you, my friend.
I think I'm losing money.
Yeah. It all adds up at some point. Yeah, I remember that. He was like, yo, like I was like the MVP of the most iconic All-Star game of this generation.
100%. And I was like, you absolutely deserved a sidestep Silverado. But it's funny, Sandy said the same thing to me. He was like, what? I can't say exactly what he said, but he's like, what man? Like the go-ahead homer in Cleveland. But they were both fired up. So
yeah, I don't hate that at all. I would say, like, now that you're in this exclusive club, like your name goes on the same list as a Pedro Martinez, but like I was trying to get you to say something all fucking morning. Like the morning of the announcement, I was like, just say it. Like, you're gonna win. Just say it. Like, no. Like, no, like that's not me. And I'm like, dude, like, it's not a matter of if you're gonna win or not. It's a matter of if it's unanimous, and then ended up being unanimous. But like, no, you stuck to it. You're like, honestly, like I'm just happy to be considered. Blah 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 blah. But how cool was it to hear the word unanimous?
That's what we want to know.
Yeah, that was special. That was like the only word I could get back out of my mouth, because you guys know. Like it was a weird setup. Like I had my AirPods in because they didn't want to hear any echoes, and I'm like, well, how are the people around me gonna hear what's going on? So when they said when they announced it said your 2020 AL Cy Young Award winner from the Cleveland Indians. And so that's when I was like, I took a step back a little bit, and I put my hands on my mom and my girlfriend Kara's legs, and then like still nobody really knew what was going on. I just go like, wow. I was speechless. It was awkward for a second, and then I was like, we did it, and then I said unanimous. That was really the only thing I could get out. because that's one of the words that while they were still talking in my ear and I was freaking out, that was one of the words that resonated with me. So I repeated it. But that obviously it's special. Truly incredible to be able to look back on and everybody that keeps reaching out, which I truly appreciate. They always include the unanimous, so it's pretty special.
Well, that means something,
to
though.
everybody. Yeah,
that means
absolutely.
something. That means that's you call it a feather in your cap, whatever it is. Look, I had some amazing conversations with Padre Beebs and Madre Beebs, and that was one of the things that your mom really hit on and really touched on and really drove home, was like I just don't know if people understand how hard this kid works and how much he loves what he does, but how much he puts in to what he does and how serious he is about that. And that's why, I give you the shit that I do, because you're a great dude. You're a great time. You're great to hang out with. You treat everybody around you with the utmost respect. And at times that can be perceived differently because not everybody is in the gym with you. Not everybody can spot you, and not everybody sees the sweat and hears the energy, So I know that unanimous means something because it's almost a reflection of all of that shit, right?
Right. And I look back on that time in quarantine, where everybody's like, hey, I'm going home and we don't know when the season's going to start, if we're going to even have a season. I mean, at that, when it first all happened and unraveled and they said, all right, spring training's canceled. I know opening day was supposed to be in like 5 days or something, but y'all go home and be safe and we'll update you. And in my mind, I'm like, okay, like 2, 3, 4 weeks, maybe, I don't know. I'll just go back and stay ready. And it ended up being a hell of a lot longer than that. But went back to Santa Barbara and all we had to do was work. That's
right.
That's how you filled your day. And there's so many people that went into that as well. We had a tremendous group. I know I mentioned it to a few people. I forget if I mentioned it to you guys, but my buddies back in Santa Barbara that are in pro ball as well, we all shacked up together, and just grinded it out, man, and just waited and played the waiting game. And it was extremely special because some of those guys, that we all pushed each other and they pushed me. They knew they weren't going to have a season in the minor leagues, and but they're out there grinding and pushing each other and pushing me, just because what else are you going to do, man? You're going to put the work in to get better for this season, next season, whatever it may be. And that's kind of what I just think back on. And I feel like that put me in a good position to kind of hit the ground running going into the season.
Are we here right now? If that move doesn't happen, if you don't make that investment, and it's not a monetary investment, it's a dedication investment, right? And you're lucky enough to have other dudes who are thinking along the same lines as you. We're getting better regardless if we're going to cash out this year or not.
Right.
Our boys getting better. Like, we're all here driven, same focus. Are we sitting here right now having this conversation if you don't make that
I'd like to say yes, because that's kind of like our focus in the off season as well. But if all circumstances staying the same with quarantine and all that stuff, if we don't do that, then probably not. I can't say for sure. It would be, it could have been a different outcome. And but that's kind of how I feel like an athlete best operates. It's not I guess it's like, how are you gonna steer away from failure? How are you gonna continue to be successful? And it wasn't about trying to reach a specific goal. It was more about you continuing to just climb upwards, whether that's from a strength aspect, from a pitching aspect, from an athleticism, whatever it may be. Just continue to get better and you'll put yourself in a good spot.
So I don't know if you knew this, but Dallas threw a perfect game in Major League Baseball.
Yeah.
And
sure.
I've asked him, like, at what point are you kind of like looking up at the scoreboard and realizing what's going on? Like, eventually it hits you at some point, some guys earlier, some guys later. On the same, it's a broader spectrum here, but was there any point during the course of the season where you're like, I got a shot at the Cy Young Award? Like, I'm not just having a good year. Like, this could be like a Cy Young year.
Yeah, there's a few points, but then that's where like that Dallas might, say soft ass bitch, but that's where that like that's where that switch in my head was like, it doesn't matter. Like you got to continue to go forward. And so if you get caught up in thinking about what you've done or what you're looking forward to, or what could potentially be waiting for you in the future, I think, at least in my opinion, for me, that doesn't help me. And so that's when I kind of just shut that little light off, and I just continue to try and focus on each game. I know it's cliche and shit, but I truly believe that makes an athlete, or at least it makes me better.
How many starts in are we talking though? Because wasn't it like 5 starts in, you would like set the record for most strikeouts through 5 starts or something like that?
It was like
you were breaking records every
the
start.
first 3 innings, it was a done deal.
Yeah.
The first 3. No, I don't know. In such a short season, obviously it's a different time, but I was getting tagged in Twitter posts and all that.
Regardless of like the length of the season, when they start like most strikeouts through 5 starts, it doesn't matter how long the season is. Like everyone starts out the season getting 5 starts. Like you were breaking records regardless of how long the season was. So like, are you seeing that on social media? Like, are you a turn it off social media guy during the season, or are you kind of like in between starts, like looking at what's being said?
I'll like go through. I kind of got a little bit OCD, so I'll get rid of my notifications and stuff, but I don't look too far into it or like read the comments or like search my name or nothing. I was like I was a weirdo. My roommates can attest to this in college. Like I went from reading everything and being like consumed in that, right? Like my freshman year, to I realized, and with some like Ken Revisa teachings, like this is not that doesn't matter, and so I went kind of like total opposite end, like don't even mention anything, kind of to the point where I was being a dick or something. But now I feel like I found that happy medium, and it's always a growing process, and especially in the major leagues, there's so many things thrown at you, so I'm continuing to learn and develop with it. But no, I kind of found that happy medium, so I don't pay too much attention to it, but I'm in tune.
I just want to point out for the young folks that are listening to this, the young athletes that are listening to what you just said right now, Shane, about turning that light bulb off and not allowing that to affect you. Baseball specifically, because it's so long and it is that marathon, it's not that sprint. Those are the things that's a prime example of staying even keeled. You're going to hear your coaches and shit talk about that. Don't get too high emotionally. Don't get too low emotionally. And though you started out on the hot streak you were on, it would have been very easy to get caught up in that and what that could mean, especially in a condensed season. Because, yeah, everybody makes their first 5 starts, but if we're looking at the calendar, you only got about 6 or 7 more of these some bitches left. So we're making some headway here very quickly. To be able to, and I would have loved to have been able to perform that way. That's not who I was. I was emotional, and I had to go that route so that I could go out there and compete with the guys who were just so much better than I was. And I think every athlete strives to find that mind space, to find that headspace. And that brought a smile to my face to hear that, because you have such a natural comprehension of how important that is. So I just wanted to point that out, because for the young kids who are listening to this, who want to celebrate their 4 for 5 and then like would, cut their grandmother's oxygen cord if they went 0 for 4 the next day. Like you can't live life like that. You can't live in this game like that. So to hear that come from the mouth of a 25-year-old Cy Young winner is so refreshing.
Yeah, I appreciate it. But also, to your point, I think there is so much benefit to being able to play with emotion, and a lot of guys thrive off that, so that's not to say that that's not the way to go. And I've continued to try to like get more into certain moments in the game, and I feel like I've continued to show a little bit more emotion each and every start and each year, because that absolutely helps athletes as well. But I think it's that point where things are going well in the season and you're getting with social media the way it is nowadays, you're getting tagged and stuff left and right, and it's like being able to look at it and like, yeah, that's cool or whatever. But I got to continue to move forward. That happened already, and what I do next is either going to make that better or make that worse. So I'm going to focus on what's next.
So you win the Cy Young Award at like, call it 4:30, and then you have a few hours to celebrate with your friends and your family and your girlfriend, your agents. About 4 hours after that, Trevor Bauer walks through the door.
Yep.
How cool is it to, like, you have your moment, like you get to celebrate, like that's your moment. And then after you have some time to let that breathe, then the icing on the cake is like, hey, my friend, my former teammate, a guy that has like taught me things and taken me under his wing. Like now he's here and he's got the same piece of hardware that I do. It's not like we're celebrating this achievement together now. Like how cool is that to be able to like have that moment on top of everything else that you got to have that day?
Yeah, it was extremely special. And just to kind of like interconnect the last two things we talked about, like Trevor's a guy that operates a little bit differently. He's like, hey, I want that and I'm going to go get that. He's not afraid to talk about it, which is great. So, that being said, like to each their own, but it was extremely special to share that moment with Trevor. I know how hard he's worked and how much he's put into this. And just like, you guys do as well. And he's extremely deserving, not just because of how he performs on the field, but how he is not afraid to help grow the game and help other people around the league and other pitchers on opposite teams with their delivery or whatever it may be. He's not afraid to be a positive influence on the game of baseball. And I think that's special. And obviously he puts in the work and he puts in the work on the field, and that showed this year. And it's going to continue to show. So it was special for him to be able to come join us even for a brief moment. I know I enjoyed that as well as you guys.
Yeah, I think he walked in the door and I just like walked right up to him, just like hugged him.
Yeah.
It does. It goes to show the kind of relationship that you guys had developed, and that I think we like to see permeate throughout the game. The older individual taking care of the younger individuals who are asking questions, who possess the tools, just want the knowledge. And when you combine those, you get what I got to witness, what we all got to witness. But that's kind of how I looked at it, just as, as a guy who's I'm no longer playing, haven't been playing for a while, but I get to see an older guy like Trev have the impact he's had on you. And to think that we're in the same room celebrating and acknowledging the successful transfer of that knowledge and of those beliefs. That's kind of how I looked at it. Like young dude, tools, dominating; older guy, tools, dominating. They've had a direct impact on each other, and we're here in that same moment celebrating it all. So
yeah,
that was very awesome, dude.
On the morning of the announcement, I put the odds at -110 that Justin Bieber would congratulate you. He didn't, which disappointed me greatly. I thought that was like a done deal, that he was going to at least send out a tweet or something. Was there any type of like celebrity or like a athlete in a different sport, like someone that like shouted you out where you were like, oh, cool, that's pretty fucking cool?
Yeah, a couple of Browns guys, Baker. It was one of them. I said those Revolution guys, but really just people that I'm close with, and that means the world to me. And that's really what's most important, is people that have helped get me here, and relationships that have developed over the past few years, and knowing that they played a part in it. So and it was cool to just have those hometown Cleveland guys reach out as well. That's always special. So be going to a Browns game here pretty soon, hopefully.
Yeah. So that was gonna be my last question for you. Is you're now a card carrying member. You know what I mean? You're a card carrying member of a very special club. If that card could get you into anywhere, into anything, the audience of anybody, whatever it is, when you play on that card, and to get what?
I would play it ASAP just to go to a friggin' concert, man. Like
for sure.
everything being shut down, obviously for good reason. But I've just been thinking over the last couple of weeks. I'm like, man, I'm jonesing for to go to a concert or something.
Dude.
Just enjoy some live music. Maybe if I'm being specific, I'd love to go to Red Rocks.
Sure.
That's
Oh
my
my
number.
God, how great.
That's my number one. So hopefully we'll make that happen sometime soon. Maybe we'll do it together.
There we
Hell
go.
yeah. I would love that. All right, we're gonna let you get out of here. I'm sure you got a million other fucking interviews to do. Congrats on the new house. Congrats on the Cy Young Award. Thank you again for having us there. I don't know when the video is gonna drop, but I heard it's coming along pretty nicely and that it's gonna be pretty badass. So I'm excited for you to see that. But again, congratulations, and we'll be in touch. Our people will talk to your people.
I appreciate it, guys. I'm fired up for the video too. Thanks for having me.
It's gonna be
good time
dope.
as always.
Three-timer on the podcast. Wow.
Who you guys got to text me who's leading in appearances, and then we'll get to work.
It's Yelly. Yelly's like a 5-timer.
Yelly,
Okay.
yeah, Yelly's borderline. He's borderline correspondent at this point.
Yeah.
You guys, we got some ground to make up.
Yeah, we do.
In due time.
We'll get to work.
All right, guys. Be good.